John Jungkook, Kim Taehyun, and Park Jin are seated around the large conference table. Across them sit Mrs. Jeon, the second wife of the late Mr. Jeon. Mr. Jeon is Jungkook's business partner. After he that now his wife is handling his business. That is why she is here, and it's almost a month that he has passed. Jungkook, it's Mr. John for you, Mrs. John. Mr. John, you know your company could reach at the very top if you continue this partnership. Mr. John would have wanted that. Jungkook, I will consider it. Mrs. John stand up, smoothing her designer dress. Her dress not showing any sign that her husband is just passed away. Before she leaves, she pounced and looked direct at Jungkook. Jimin, it's like she already moved on, barely a hint of sadness. Jungkook, she is his second wife, and from what I have heard, she always been more interested in his money than anything else. The meeting broke and the investor satisfied with the discussion and left already. Jungkook, Jimin and Jungkook also prepared to leave. Standing up and about to leave, Mr. Chun, wait, as the worker hours are over, Jungkook, someone is waiting for you as I told you about my daughter. Jimin raising his eyebrow, whispering to Cheonga, is she struggling Cheonga? She looked terrified. What is going on? Jungkook's eyes narrowed as she watched Wayne approach. He noticed how she avoided the eye contact, how in the way her hands were trembling slightly. There is something about Jimin, something is off. Jimin and Cheonga exchanged look, both of them picking up on the uncomfortable dynamic between Wayne and Mrs. Sean. They can see how scared she is, and it's clear them that there is something very wrong. Ryan, Mom, it's hurting. Mr. John, how many times I have to tell you, call me Mrs. John or ma'am. I am not your mother. Your mother is dead. Jungkook, I forget my key. Jungkook in mind don't know why my heart wanted to came back here. Wine in mind, his touch, why so warm? Her heart skipped a beat. No one has ever held her so gently, so calmly. She looked at him, her eyes searching his face as she tried to find hope in him. Jungkook, Mom, Dad, did Mr. Chan has a daughter? His father looked up from his newspaper, warm smile forming on his lip as he remembered Mr. John. Yes, her name is Wine. We used to call her our cheerful bubble. Mrs. John, we ignored her concern, thinking it was a phase, but when Mrs. John started cutting Mayan off from her friend from society, keeping her isolated at home, the next time we saw Mayan, she wouldn't the same. The light in her eye was gone, replaced with a fear. She was no longer the cheerful bubble we know. Mrs. John left the country because if she had stayed there, Mr. John would have seen what happening. He would have left her for treating his daughter so poorly. But by the time we realized it was too late. Chonga exchanged grace with Jimin, a knowing smile stuck at the corner of his lip. Chonga, I knew it. The way you look at her in the restaurant, I know you since childhood. Jungkook, you have never looked a girl the way you look at her, but I didn't think you were this much interested that you want to know about her. Jungkook, that is why she wanted her to get married. Jimin Changa walked in the office noticing the dark look on Jungkook's face as he continued to read the paper. Jungkook, Mr. Chan wanted to meet YN. Mr. Chan's mug depends misinterpreting his request as the confirmation that Jungkook is interested in YN. Mrs. Chan in her mind, I know her beauty face would really work out. Mine slightly flinched at the sound of her name, but she raised her head just enough to meet his eyes for the bare moment. Wine, Mom said you wanted to meet Jungkook. You don't need to be scared. First, calm down. I don't like the way she is shivering, looking down. Wine, don't let me go back to the mom. Wine's heart raced as she muttered all the courage she can. Her voice trembled barely above the whisper as she finally speaks. Wine, she will lock me, she cried loud as she finds someone for whom she can tell her pain. Jungkook, I told you I will protect you. He pulled into hug. She cried, clutching his shirt. Just be Jungkook, you're looking cute, he said, looking at her. Both are sitting together at their marriage ceremony, already done. Jungkook noticed Wyan's hand shaking. He held her. Jungkook, look at me. She looked up. Wyan, I'm not scared. I'm just nervous. He responds as he already know what he going to ask. Mrs. John, what are you saying? I don't understand anything. Jungkook, after seeing this, you will understand everything, he said, giving the paper to her. And after reading the paper, her eye widened. Mrs. John, what nonsense is this? She threw the paper in fear. Mrs. John, karma always hit you hard, doesn't matter how far you go away. She smoked before leaving with the Mr. John. Jamin. Tionga asked the staff to throw out this waste along with the garbage. Tionga, okay, he laughed and both of them left. Don't worry, I will never leave you. Wayne looked up at him, her eyes glittering with the unshed tear, her voice small, almost childish as she asked, Jungkook, yes, important. I want to protect you. I want you to be my doll, and I also teach you how to be an Annabella doll for others. Wine stepped closer with her hand around him, resting her head against his chest. When I feel safer, she whips her against his chest, her voice filled with a sense of peace, and she hasn't felt in years. Jungkook's heart raced in his chest. He slowly lowered his head and gently wrapped them around her, holding her close as if she might slip away. Why don't look at me, she grips in a shock and embarrassment. She tried to pull the towel tighter around her, stepping back in fear, but Jungkook doesn't move. His eyes are locked on the beauty. Why, and you're crying for me? Jungkook closed his eyes, his voice thick with emotion as he tightened his hold on her. Jungkook, I will kill and die for you, Wyan. Crying is nothing compare what I have feel for you.